Hello, I'm Emily Powers, and in this video I'm going to paint a bird silhouette with acrylic paint, and there's some grass and it should be hopefully really easy. Maybe the hardest part if you were a beginner would be doing the little strands of grass, but I think it would be pretty easy. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a watercolor pencil and mark out where I want this dark area down here in the background to be. So I'm going to mark it if this is the middle of the edge and this is like the fourth. I'm going to do it kind of in between there, maybe a little higher, right there. And then on this side, if this is the middle, and then this is in between, this is the fourth, I'm going to mark it right there. And it's going to do kind of a horizontal line, like that. So you probably don't even really have to mark that out, but I'm going to get a number 6 Filbert, and this is Princeton Summit. I have all of the supplies that I'm using listed in the description, and there are also links to some of the supplies where you can buy some of them, and a percentage of your purchase helps support my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Do a new video every Friday, and you can go to my channel by clicking Emily Powers Art right below the video, and you can go there. So on this side it's going to be pretty light, and on this other side it's going to be just slightly darker. So I'm taking titanium white and burnt sienna, and then I'm getting a lot more titanium white as I come over. So it's almost just white over here. And I'm probably going to do this a second time to get it to cover good. Alright, and now then once we start getting over here, it's going to get slightly darker. I'm going to get some burnt sienna and a little bit of burnt umber. And a little bit more burnt umber so it's not as red. Okay, a little bit more. I want it to be a little bit more like brown over this way. I'm still going to have some of the burnt sienna in it though. I'm kind of mixing it as I go because I'm not making enough to keep going, so and you can add some water. Dip your brush in the water. That should help it to go on a little better. Okay, and then down here, I'm going to get burnt umber. And some white. It's going to be even more brown. It's going to be a little darker, so I'm going to get a little bit of Ivory Black. And put that down at the bottom. Maybe make it a little darker. Okay. And I get a little bit more water here. And so I'm going to do another coat, so I'm not like going to worry too much about it being the exact color that I want. I'm just kind of brushing in between those two. Alright, so I'm going to rinse that brush out. And there's still some of the canvas showing, but I'll get that in the next layer. So I'm going to let it dry, rinse my brush out, and then come back for the next layer. Okay, so now I think I can move on. So I'm going to get the white and just use it by itself at the top. And I also noticed while I was looking at the camera just now that it's turning out in the camera looking a lot more brown. Like all of this has kind of got like a reddish color from the burnt sienna. And that's like hardly even showing up in the camera. So, I mean, maybe it'll change as I go. The color in the camera seems to kind of change slightly as I'm painting. So maybe it will work later. Alright, so I'm doing mainly white, and I'll get a little bit of, not that much, just a little bit of color down here with that burnt sienna and burnt umber. Don't want it that dark down there, so. All right. burnt sienna and a little bit of burnt umber, so it's not as red. It is still got some of that red though, so it's not showing up, and don't really know why. Okay, and I'll get some burnt umber over here, and I'll blend it in. It doesn't have as much white in it. And now I'll get some more burnt umber. Get some of this lighter color. Put that at the top. And now I'll get some of that burnt umber. It's not as red over here. Okay, and then the bottom, I'm going to do this burnt umber and a little bit of black with some white. I'm trying to mix up a lot more now. Maybe I won't have to come back so much. Put that on. I'm just going to go over and just kind of take my brush and do kind of like a slightly circular motion and make it not so straight. Just kind of give it some, just kind of fuzz it out a little bit. That. So almost, I think it's almost there, so I'll just stop. Alright, so I'm going to rinse my brush out. That's the last layer of the background, I think, except I might just kind of go and brighten up that that area, not get as much of the color in it. And right there kind of did something funky, but it's pretty much good. And then we can do the bird and the grass. Put this brush over here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna try to fix some of the things in the background that I don't like. So put some more white back here. There's a little bit of color that kind of got in here. Didn't want it like that, I wanted it more white. Do some of that. And then get some of this color and try to kind of fix right in here where it looks kind of funky. Alright. So it's not perfectly smooth, but I'm just going to go ahead and test that out and try to get some of this lighter up at the top just a little bit. Right, and then right in here is kind of alright. So that's okay there. So I'm just going to rinse that off since I went over this a little bit. I'm going to kind of put that back. Okay, so I'm going to take this and just kind of fix the edge and make sure that I have this the way I want it before I put my bird in. So I'm just going along the edge and putting that right on the edge, right there. So right here it's kind of lifting off some of the paint, so I'm just going to try to I would try to kind of make it thick there so that it will stay okay. I don't have to go over it again. All right, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do the next step. So this is, you can work on it however much you want, but I want this video to be kind of short, so. All right, so now I'm gonna need this area to dry before I go over and put my bird in. Because I'm going to be using my watercolor pencil again, so I'm going to pause. Okay, so as long as I don't touch this really thick area where it was lifting, I think it should be good. So I'm going to say the bird is kind of sort of like right in the middle almost, and so I'm going to do, let's see, where the post stops, if this is the middle, I'm going to do it kind of down here, right below the middle. And then from the middle of the canvas, I'm going to bring down this side. And the watercolor pencil I used for this line at the beginning was a dark brown. This is a black. I want it to show up against this. And then this side is, if you mark the middle and then the fourth, it's going to be right in between that. That's where I want to put it. So it's kind of a thick post here. I'm going to angle it up slightly. And then there's going to be grass and stuff, but I'm not going to draw that out. And then the bird, I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I draw. The bird, I'm going to do right just a little bit above that. I'm gonna do a curve, and then on this side, I'm gonna do a curve, and then his tail comes out. And there's like a wing right there. And then it's going to come back down slightly and then up when you see his head. He's going to be looking up. So his beak's going to point kind of up. Let's see. I don't think I want it that tall. So what I want to do if I want to change it is I take my rag and some water and just tap it off like that. And then his feet are going to kind of curve like that. Alright, so I'll paint it in, and you can kind of see a little bit better what it looks like. So I'm going to zoom back out, and I'm going to get a 1/4 inch Princeton Select Angular Shader. So this brush has an angle on it. So you don't have to have the same brush, but I'm going to get my black and maybe some of the burnt umber, so it's not just really black. It's more like brown, really dark brown. And I'm going to fill in first this post that he's sitting on. There's kind of a spot that kind of pokes out here on this board a little bit. And if you need to, you can go and cover it a 2nd or 3rd time if it needs, if it's like see-through. Alright, so you got that. I'm going to mix a little bit more of this because I know I'm going to run out soon. And some water so it's not so thick. Okay, And first I'm gonna do, there's like some tall grass things up here, so I'm gonna use the edge of my brush and pull down a stalk for it to come off of, and I'll do the leaves later. And then this one's kind of close to the other one. There. And then water it down a little bit more. Okay, and I'll do some grass. So this might be more of one of the harder parts if you're a beginner, to do these small lines. Just, you can kind of practice on paper too if you want. And down at the bottom it can be pretty thick. You can do some small ones down at the bottom to kind of make it all thick down there. You can even use kind of the edge of the brush, the flat side, and kind of flick. And there's one thing right here that's got some like dots on it. And you can do more of those if you want. Alright, do one that's kind of maybe behind here and comes up past the bird. Just go right over my drawing. can do some that are kind of like bent, so it goes up and then goes down. Do some really tall ones by these two tall stalks here. And do some small ones. Okay. And all right. Do some kind of thicker ones at the top over there. I don't really know that I like this one. Do that. All right. And okay, I'm gonna rinse that brush out now. And actually, I might take it and just to mix more of this now. And just cover over this a little better in case I see so many. There's a few spots I can kind of see through. Cover it. All right. Now I'm going to rinse it out. And now I'm going to get my small #1 round. It's Princeton Velvetouch. So just a small little brush for filling in the bird. And I'll zoom in so you can see it. So okay, and there's going to be this wing that kind of comes off. So you can kind of imagine the wing being right here, and you're just seeing the tip. And then his feet, right there. See, it got a little bit thick on the feet, so let me get my brush just wet before the paint dries. Oops. I have to fix that, but I'm trying to fix the feet first. That's the more important part at the moment. I'm very bad at, I'm trying to go fast, getting water everywhere. All right. Okay, and then the bird's beak. All right. And the water ran down again. Okay, and water is kind of making the paint run a little bit. All right. Go. And we didn't need to do a second coat, but zoom back out there. And now take my black and some brown, and I'll do the leaves on these stalks. So I'm just going to kind of just do it. Tapping just some dots and lines. And to kind of go on this one pretty much the same as where I put some on the other one. go back over this bird. Some black and just kind of finish it. All right. So I'm gonna have to let it dry before I try to take the watercolor pencil off. So I will let it dry so that I can take that off and then you can see the finished painting. All right, so I kind of tried taking some of the chalk off and kind of lifted off some of the bird. So I don't think I want to actually take it off right now fully. Just let the paint dry real good. So all right, there's a few spots on the wood. I want to get cover a little better. It's just gonna need to dry. It's really thick paint there. It needs to just dry. All right. I don't have a big problem with lifting most of the time, with the paint lifting off, but I am today, so. All right, that's good. So it's the bird. So I hope you enjoyed painting this, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. And the painting we're doing next Friday is going to be the chipmunk in the flowers. So if you want to see the other flowers of the dog get painted, you can go to my channel, Emily Powers Art, right below the video, and you can watch those. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.